Good morning. Welcome to Spring Piston Rifle Fever. This morning I want to talk to you a little bit about the cult of air rifles. That's right. Air rifles can be like a cult. You can have cult followings, whether it's a Diana, a Weihrauch, or a Gamo. And today I just want to show you some differences in build quality in these air rifles. So first off, I'll start off with a Diana, then I'm going to go to my HW50, then a Gamo. So sometimes I get such comments where people seem so emotionally charged over their air rifles. Sort of like my Diana is just as bad, just as good as my HW rifle or better. I hear talk like that, and I think it's a little funny, a little silly. I don't think the build quality is quite up to Weihrauch build quality with Diana, and I will show you why. In some areas, yes. In some areas, no. But we'll start off with down here at the buttstock. We'll go from back to front. Of course, you can get an older Diana 36 with a rubber recoil pad, but these old ones didn't, or this Diana 34s didn't. And the Diana 34 that's supposed to come back later on, Diana had told me in the third quarter of 2025, hopefully, they'll be in our dealerships in the United States. So next off is the it's the cap for the safety. So this is plastic. Even this rifle is what, 1993? Yeah, I barely can see with my old eyes. 1993, but this cap here is plastic. And I'll cock it. And it does cock buttery smooth. It's really, really nice. So the safety pops out, and it is a good safety, actually, but it's not built with the same construction of a Weihrauch. So I'm going to put that on fire. I'm going to decock this, squeeze the trigger, let the barrel go home. So next up is the trigger. The trigger guard on this is metal, but it's not quite as thick as a Weihrauch's. This is I believe a T01 trigger. It has, let's see if we can get that in there, 2 adjustment screws in there. It's a really good trigger. It can be adjusted really, really good. It's crisp like a glass rod, but the trigger blade itself is made out of plastic. On the inside, if you ever remove the rifle from the action, there's an open spring that's in there that doesn't look like it's quite the quality of Weihrauch. I think it's really good and everything, but not quite up to that quality. Now we have the open sights, and I do believe these are Weihrauch quality. They are very good, but appears to be plastic. So it's not as good as Weihrauch, but it does have where you can change. Here, let me open it up. It does have where you can change the rear sight notches, so that's nice. You know, I don't even know if I ever looked at that before, but it does have that. And you can see that it has a ball detent. Now, some people say that a wedge detent is better than a ball detent. This rifle is very, very accurate with the old style Crosman Premier hollow point 7.9 grain pellets. So I really can't say that a wedge detent is better than a ball detent. This is an old rifle, and it's lasting good and working good. The breech on this, maybe Weihrauch's, maybe somebody's had a problem with that, but with this one, I had to take a conical grinding stone, and I had to open that up there because the pellets weren't seating all the way in, no matter how hard I pushed, unless I used a seating tool. So I ground that out until the pellets fit flush. Otherwise, they were getting crushed every time I closed the barrel. So I'm going to decock this again, squeeze the trigger, let it go home. Another area where it comes very close to matching Weihrauch quality is the front post with the protective hood. I got to try to think of these words. The protective hood. And actually, I really like that front sight post, but Weihrauch has one that is very similar to that. And the Weihrauch rifles come with a pack. I don't remember how many different sight post exchanges that you can stick in there, but I think there's like 6 of them. So it's very high quality. This is a very high quality rifle. This is very accurate. It's very nice. One of these days, I'm going to get myself a rubber butt pad, and I think I could do better with this rifle if I removed maybe a coil or 2 off the mainspring. One other thing I like about this, I don't know if you can see it, barely on the compression tube, you can see the Diana logo, which is super nice. I'm going to save Weihrauch for last. I'm going to jump straight to the Gamo, because there's a lot of people that get really upset when I say anything negative about a Gamo. So this is my Gamo varmint right here. I have a little, it's a 3x9. It adjusts for magnification, super cheapo scope. They claim 1,250 feet per second on here, but I'm going to show the difference in build quality. Number one, Gamo has a rubber butt pad, so good job for Gamo. We go forward here, and we have the trigger blade is plastic. The trigger guard is plastic. This part here, the safety, yeah, that's plastic. The trigger is not a good trigger. I'm going to cock it. So I'm going to pull it really slowly while holding onto the barrel and see if you can see how much second stage there is to this. I think you had to see that. So the other part with this is I'm not even gonna complain about the synthetic stock, even though I think a wood stock is better. I think they're heavier, and I think that settles down the shot cycle, which is very important for getting good accuracy. So then we move up here to this area. So this has a plastic breech block and a plastic wedge detent. I really don't use this rifle a whole lot, but I mean, it gets the job done. If you have the right pellet, it can group about an inch at 20 yards, which can be good enough for taking small game at that distance or eliminating a bunny in your yard. So the whole barrel, the steel, is enshrouded in plastic. So the very first Gamo that I got, I wanted to remove the plastic. I was like, how do I get that barrel out of there? Because I just hated the plastic. It was accurate. I had fun with it. But eventually, this little wedge detent here, it wiggled. And I had a horrible vertical shot string. After that, I really knew why some people hated Gamo. There's no hate to it at all. It's an air gun and it works, but it's just not super quality. Now I'm going to share with you, oh, this is my HW30. It's just like my HW50. It looks almost exactly the same. It's a little shorter, but the HW30 and HW50, probably especially HW50, you wouldn't even hardly know the difference unless I told you. The HW50 is just slightly bigger, but that it's shorter. And I think the reach from the buttstock to the trigger is about the same. So when I'm shooting this, it just feels so nice. So for shooting offhand for target, or if I was hunting up close, my HW50 or even this HW30S is great. Now I'm going to share with you some of the things that my Diana doesn't have that this has. So this has a rubber recoil pad, which is super nice. The trigger here, it just has one adjustment here, but on the inside, if you want to take it out, take it apart, there is an Allen hole key that is in front of the trigger here, and that will adjust to make it more crisp. So if you have any second stage that takes a long time for it to get through, you can make it so it is more of a glass rod, but this is perfect the way it is for me. The HW50 has a wedge detent. The HW95 has a wedge detent, and the 80 has a wedge detent, but the 30 here, it has a ball detent. A little bigger than the Diana ball detent. The breech, I never had to do anything to the breech. All the pellets seat perfect. Every single HW rifles or Weihrauch rifle that I've had has been perfect. I haven't had to do anything with it except for remove the grease from the compression tube. That's all I've ever had to do. So since we got this open already, we got good quality rear sights, and you can see that you can pull that out and switch to 4 different notches. I don't know if I said it, but the trigger guard is all steel, and it's thicker, it's more rugged, it's more heavy duty. Trigger is all steel. The adjustment screw for the trigger brake weight, that's all steel. And then the safety back here that pops out, that is heavy duty. Did you hear that click? Might sound like I'm doing a commercial, but I'm really not. So I'm going to let that go home. Then we're going to move up to the barrel. That front sight post, let me sit over here. There we go. Get it up there so you can see better. Anyhow, that is very nice, and I think there's 6 different globe inserts. If I'm wrong, somebody correct me in the comments, but this has a great barrel also. So really, there's a few things that separate the Weihrauch from the Diana and from a Gamo. And like I said, air rifles are kind of a cult following, and some people get really upset if you say anything against a Gamo or a Diana. You know, it's not like I'm picking on you. I'm just telling you about the rifle. So there is a difference in quality, and that's not an opinion. Your Gamo might be accurate, so that's good. I want you to have an accurate Gamo over if you have a Hatson AirTact or something, which has the build quality of the Gamo here with the plastic in the rear or on the barrel. It has the same type of build quality. It has a plastic trigger, but long as it's accurate and you like it, who cares? But if you want to step up to something different, you know, I'd encourage you to save up your pennies and do so. That's what I do. I save my pennies. I'm not a rich man. So I just thought I wanted to share this little cult classic of air rifles. And you're going to have it with all different air rifles, where there's going to be serious cult followings, whether it's a Cometa, a Weihrauch, a Diana, or a Gamo. So I wanted to share this. Hopefully I will get some shooting videos in very soon. I got a new scope in that I have to review. So that's, I'm just going to wait. I'll tell you later about it. So it looks like a nice scope. So I'm going to test it out. I'm going to test it a lot, test it hard. So if you've not subscribed to my channel, I'd highly appreciate if you'd subscribe and give a like. I'd highly appreciate that. And I hope you all have a great weekend, and God bless every one of you.